so many people, friends of mine, that have nice businesses. They can't borrow money. They just can't get any money because the banks just won't let them borrow because of the rules and regulations and Dodd-Frank. I learned a lot about the automobile business. I thought I knew a lot, but they are being so stymied, so restricted with regulation and so many other reasons, and they're pouring back into the country already. The January employment report shows that the private sector added 237,000 jobs last month. A lot of that has to do with the spirit our country now has. As you know, I'm very much opposed to sanctuary cities. They breed crime. When you see illegals, people that are not citizens, and they're on the registration rolls. Look, Bill, we can be babies, but you take a look at the registration. You have illegals, you have dead people, you have this. It's really a bad situation.
President Trump doesn't draw the distinction between problems with voter registration and voter fraud. There might be voter registration fraud where somebody is registered in a couple of different places, as is Mr. Trump's own senior staff. But dead people, it's very hard for dead people to vote.
The law could not be more clear here, John. Not only his constitutional authority to conduct foreign policy for this country, but clear statutory authority in federal law today gives the president the ability to determine who is given access to this country and who is not.
Protesting has become a profession now. They have every right to do that, don't get me wrong, but I think that we need to call it what it is. It's not these organic uprisings that we've seen through the last several decades. The Tea Party was a very organic movement. This has become a very paid, AstroTurf type movement.
There's no evidence to support that claim, of course, but a lack of evidence doesn't seem to much matter to the Trump administration.
I have already saved more than $700 million when I got involved in the negotiation on the F-35. Radical Islamic terrorists are determined to strike our homeland, as they did on 9/11, as they did from Boston to Orlando to San Bernardino. All over Europe, it's happening. It's gotten to a point where it's not even being reported.
Let's talk about Iran. Your assessment.
We've already given them billions and billions, probably $150 billion.
That story was so riddled with inaccuracies and lies that they owe the president an apology for the way that thing was. There were just literally blatant factual errors.
We've asked him to talk about what these factual inaccuracies are. We've asked others in the White House to tell us what they're talking about. We have not heard back.
The murder rate in our country is the highest it's been in 47 years, right? Did you know that? 47 years.
The murder rate is not at the highest rate it's been in 47 years. It spiked a little, it went up a little, but it's still much, much lower.
CNN reportedly declined to interview Kellyanne Conway on Sunday because of questions about her credibility.
My understanding is they retracted that.
As you know, I approved 2 pipelines that were stuck in limbo forever. I don't even think it was controversial. In the Keystone case, we have potentially 32,000 jobs almost immediately.
Nordstrom has come out and says this was not a political decision, it was a business decision. Ivanka Trump, as you know, has said she has divorced herself, separated herself from her business. So how is she being treated unfairly?
This is a direct attack on his policies and her name and so that there's clearly an attempt for him to stand up for her because she is being maligned because they have a problem with his policies.
Nordstrom insists it has nothing to do with politics. They say this was a business decision, that the clothing line was not performing.
Within the 7 countries that we've talked about, there's at least 20 some odd people that over the last few years have come into this country and been convicted of or charged with acts of terrorism. I would respectfully disagree with her assessment of Senator Sessions then and now. His record on civil and voting rights I think is outstanding.
When Reagan appointed him for a judgeship in the 80s, even Republicans in the Senate back then were persuaded that Jeff Sessions' record on civil rights and racism was too odious to let him have a seat on the federal bench.
The stuff that the president is doing is almost entirely highly applauded by both sides of the aisle.
Forget that. Forget all of that.